Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to take a look in the Soulforge and tell you what I think are the best weapons and mythics to craft from there. Also be taking a look at this latest weekly Glory Troop Crystal Eggs. Anyway, two cannibals are eating a clown. One says to the other, "Does this taste funny to you?" Yes, indeed. Right, Crystal Eggs. Let's take a look. Silverglade Ultra Rare. Choose one. Create 7 blue dragon gems, summon a random dragon, or create 7 green dragon gems and summon a random dragon. Pretty good traits. Allied dragons gain 2 life, immune to burning and fairy fire, and reduce damage from skulls by 30%. So the fact that both of those options summon a random dragon, which can be Darmentina, it can be one of the other gem dragons, plenty of decent dragons in this game. But with that double option of creating either blue or green, with the correct team, there's a really good chance to get a lot of that colour on the screen, which will make that cast very successful, generating a load of mana and a summon at the same time. I think this has got a really great potential, this troop. I'm going to give it a mega solid 8 out of 10. So make sure you grab it all the way up to Mythic if you can. It's going to give you another troop. It'll be on level 20, which is going to aid your power level kingdoms in the long run. Right, so straight to the Soulforge. Let's take a look at the troops in there. Let's start with the weapons first. I'm not going to go over all these ones that are here all the time. They're in my Soulforge extra video, which will be in the description below via a link. Right, Silver Saber. No need to buy it from here. This is in the Journey event shop around about tier 2, I think it is. So you can grab it from there if you need it. It's nothing special about it. It does magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by blue allies and night allies. But hey, it's another weapon, which is always good. This is, again, going to help your kingdom progression in the long run. So grab it anyway. But not from here if you can. Grab it from the Journey shop. Most people are going to go to tier 2 or 3 anyway, regardless. So you effectively save the diamonds you would ordinarily have to spend from here. Next up we have Nature Sword. Does damage to the first enemy and deal triple damage if they use brown mana. So very effective against brown mana using troops, but not that great otherwise. It does have Tangling, which is really decent. One of its upgrades that entangles the first troop when you cast this. So yeah, not bad against brown enemies that. Next up we have Crystal Point. Damage to an enemy boosted by Silverglade allies, then creates a mix of 6 yellow and purple gems for each Silverglade ally. Uses green and red, generates yellow and purple. So as long as you've got at least a couple of your other troops using yellow or purple, then you can generate an absolute ton of mana for them really quickly with this weapon. Pretty decent. And it has enchanting as well. When you cast this, you'll become enchanted, gain 2 mana every turn, and be ready to do it all over again. Right, Doomed Mask. Not as bad as it sounds, but it's just super complicated and mega mighty crikey situational. So many things have to be going on for this to reach its true potential. It's mad. Gives magic +1 life to all allies with a +2 per temporary level boost. So on +10 or its biggest power, you're going to get another 20 to that. Then give 5 mana to all other allies. If the enemy has a doom, give 4 more. So you're going to get 5 mana to all other allies anyway, just not you. If the enemy has a doom, that'll become 9 mana to all other allies, which is really good. And then give 2 magic to all allies for each blue enemy. So you can potentially give another 8 magic to all allies, which is pretty decent as well, including yourself, which is going to boost up that life-giving even more. But yeah, you have to have this tempered to the max. You have to have a doom on the enemy team and everybody using blue at the same time to make the most of this. So that's why it's good but bad. It's not great. I much prefer doomed weapons that do mega damage. Far more effective for me. Runestone of Silverglade. The anti-Silverglade weapon, I call these kind of things. Remove all purple gems. What's the point in that, you say? Well, Silverglade troops like purple the most. So by removing those purple gems, you're generally going to hinder what those teams can do. And then deals magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by the gems removed. And if the enemy is from Silverglade or if the battle is in Silverglade, deal double damage. So fairly effective in those situations, but far from essential. Ethereal Shield. Gains magic +1 armor and barrier, a random ally for every daemon enemy. So again, nice bit of armor and barrier is good, but basically you need to be fighting a Daemon team to make the most of it. Wild Orb creates 3 to 8 wild cards of various multipliers. Not that great. If it was like create 5 to 8 wild cards, then maybe, but 3 to 8 is just a bit too random. Basically, the chances are you have as much chance of setting up the enemy for a load of mana as you do of getting it yourself. So, not one for me, but utterly collectible. Just collect it, put it in the bag, say you got it, probably never use it. Emerald Blade explodes magic +1 purple gems, grants a random status effect to all Silverglade allies, then summons a Silverglade troop. So a nice explodey summony weapon. Do like it a lot. I love these explodey summony stuff. And we have Arcanus's Blade. Does magic-based damage to an enemy, and if Arcanus is on my team, enchant myself. So, a bit of a strange thing, because it's got enchanting as one of its upgrades anyway. So when you cast this, you're going to be enchanted anyway. So it's like, it's a bit strange, because part of the spell is if Arcanus is on my team, enchant myself, but you get it anyway. Bit weird. Yeah, whatever. Right, that is it. Now onto the troops. Let's start with the Mythics. Start at the bottom and work our way up. First up is Tourmaline. Do like this troop. It's mainly good for Guild Wars mostly, but don't use it really on anything else. Does damage to all enemies, then drains 4 mana from all enemies boosted by Gargoyle Gems. Creates a good Gargoyle Gem when matching 4 or more gems. I've used this with Charleston before on Browndale, I think it was, to really good effect. I mean, it's a shame he's not a construct, but it still does work pretty good. Charleston still loops pretty well with even just 3 constructs in the team. And every 4 match, you basically get to just drain mana on a massive degree when you cast this, because basically, as it says, drain 4 mana from all enemies boosted by Gargoyle Gems. And you get those 4 matches with Charleston, you create plenty of Gargoyle Gems. Make sure you cast it before the enemy gets to do anything funny like blow up the board, stealing all your Gargoyle Gems. And you can actually control the enemy's team's mana really well with that, as well as do damage at the same time. Do like Tourmaline, but it's very specific. It's not like a absolute must. Depends on your play style to a certain degree, I think. Champion of Anu. Silence, stun and drain all mana from an enemy, then deal a magic-based damage to them and all enemies below them. So better if you can cast this on a troop higher up to get more damage to the enemies below. But if you do specifically want to silence, stun and drain a particular troop, you can actually target them with that. So not too bad like that. Reduced damage from skulls by 60% is pretty decent, as is all blue allies gain 1 to all stats at the start of each turn. More effective when you're a newer player, it becomes less effective as you get more powerful in the game, but still actually, you know, relevant. And not great, he's just sort of alright bit. Scorpius, very good, outrageously good in certain teams. Does damage to the last 2 enemies, and the damage is lethal on any poisoned enemies. Now, if you've got Uri as a troop, you're probably well aware that she poisons all enemies on a 4 match. So all you got to do is get a 4 match to poison everyone, cast this dude, and you're going to kill 2 enemies. Simple as that. Really, really powerful in the right team. As well as that, he's impervious as well and has Desert King. All brown allies gain 1 to all stats at the start of each turn. Very, very nice indeed. Same as the weapons. Not going to go over all these troops that are here all the time, like Zathanos, etc. They're in my Soulforge extra video. Next up, we have Queen Aurora. Underrated. Give all other allies barrier and magic +1 life, then create 10 gems of a chosen color. And combine that, create 10 gems of a chosen color. The fact that you can choose that on any color, there's nearly always one color which is dominant on the screen at one point or another. And combine that with that, and the fact that you get bonus mana from all gem matches is, you know, she can get so much mana for the team. It is absolutely quite ludicrous. As well as that, gain 1 magic when an ally casts a spell is pretty decent as well. So Queen Aurora, not as naff as she initially first seems. So is that it? Aurora, Scorpius, Anu and Tourmaline, yes. So on to the Legendaries. Now I've just seen something, Tesla. Now I do normally, see, I've got my words in a twist already, I've got excited. I do normally say don't craft Legendaries, because I always say always to save your diamonds for the much harder to get mythics. But Tesla is one of the absolute exceptions. If you do not have Tesla, just get her right now. Just not right now, wait till you've finished watching this video, then go and get Tesla, because she's basically a mythic in disguise. Forget the fact that it's 15 mana cost, which is not that much for a spell of this magnitude, but also uses blue and red. She is basically a mythic. If she was a mythic, but somehow still used only 15 mana and only 2 mana colors, she would probably be a top 5 mythic. She's that good, absolutely ridiculously good in factions and things like that. Faction assaults. Deals 8 true scatter damage boosted by all ally and enemy armor. So you get her in a team where a couple of the other members of your team boost up armor on your side, and you've got an absolutely wickedly powerful woman here. She's absolutely awesome. In the factions, the higher the level the factions get, the more armor the enemy gets, the worse it gets for them. You've probably seen me use her in various videos on faction assaults. Absolutely stunning, one of the best troops in the game, full stop. Just, if you do one thing this week, if you've got the diamonds, get Tesla. Just, yes, she's absolutely amazing, absolutely fantastic. And she's just got better recently. She had a recent buff. She's got the Tesla's time of pet thing. Yeah, she's, just, get Tesla, do you see? Just get Tesla. A silent one. Silences all enemies and himself. Not as weird as it sounds, because if you silence all enemies, you basically stop them from collecting mana and casting spells, which makes it harder to get a cleanse, which, you know, makes it quite good. But saying that, no one hardly ever uses him. So hey ho, whatever. Who's next? Gruz the Undefeated. Still excited by seeing Tesla in the Soulforge, so good. Deals damage to an enemy, curse them and inflict 2 to 4 stacks of bleed. Gain 8 mana when an enemy dies. Deal double skull damage versus humans. Yeah. Dullahan. Magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by ally and enemy deaths. Kill either the first enemy or first ally. So unusual second part of the spell, but can be really, really handy if you've got a near dead or irrelevant top troop, like a summon that was no good or something like that, and it just happens to do something like that, or kill the first enemy, which is really useful. So as also the Headhunter, 50% chance to summon a gargoyle when an enemy dies. Right, so I think that is our lot. So who gets my Mythic of the Week? I do really like Tourmaline, but it is more of a Guild Wars based troop really. And Aurora is good, but a bit too cute. Champion of Anu just overall not good enough. And Scorpius is overall pretty awesome. So it has to be Scorpius. Damage to the last 2 enemies. Lethal damage on any poisoned enemies. Combine that with Uri, you can have a really, really mega crazy fast team. Scorpius, my Mythic of the Week. There it is. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, helpful, any of that kind of stuff, be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching. I'll be back later on with my Journey event team, my Underspire team, Epic Trials and more. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.